Hello, I'm Claire with Step by Step Landlord, and today I want to tell you about the very best DIY landlord hack and how you can set it up in 10 minutes or less. On top of that, I created a step by step guide for you to follow and a templated letter you can use with your tenant. I did all the hard work for you. With everything I've learned on my landlording journey, my mission is to help you set up efficient processes so you can minimize the time you spend managing your rental properties. My videos are all about giving you practical step by step advice to set up systems and processes that'll save you time, money, and a whole lot of headaches. So, if you're ready to turn your rental property into a more passive income stream, you're in the right spot. Let's jump right in and take the first step. So, my very favorite secret of property management, and I'm still surprised that many DIY landlords aren't doing it, is automated rent collection. Rent shows up in your bank account every month, and you had to take literally no action. Sounds like a simple concept, so why isn't everyone doing this? Maybe you don't know any different than having your tenants mail you a check each month. Maybe this is what you did when you've rented a property. I remember doing this when I was in college. You mailed a check, that's what you did. But there is a reason the saying is the check is in the mail. Besides lost or missing checks in the mail, you have to deposit that check in your account. Maybe you use mobile deposit, it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't, you now have to make a trip to your bank and deposit it. You have a life, and your rental properties are meant to create passive income, and going to the bank 12 times a year, it's not a good use of your time. Maybe you think setting up something on a platform using bank transfer is going to charge you and your tenants fees. That's fair. Maybe you think setting up an automated way is too hard for you and your tenants. Maybe you don't want to rock the boat with a long-term tenant who's always paid you cash or check. Or maybe you didn't know that there are ways to set up rent collection to be automated. There's many platforms you can use out there. Most do charge a fee of some sort, whether that's monthly or per transaction for you and your tenant. But I found one that doesn't, apartments.com. Here's the benefits of using apartments.com for this process. Once you set it up, your tenants, it's very set and forget for both you and the tenant. It's free to use for the tenant as long as they pay with a bank transfer. And as long as you, the landlord, you're willing to wait 6 to 7 days for the rent to transfer to your bank account. When the tenant sets up autopay on their side, it is also very set and forget for them. So they're less likely to have late rent or other payment issues. Most tenants love it. It's one less thing they have to do too. Another benefit is you can see in progress payments. So unlike a check that your tenant tells you they dropped in the mail and you just have to see if it shows up, you can see when these payments are initiated, even though it takes a few days to transfer to your account. As a bonus, there are lots of other management tools on apartments.com. You can list your property. You can see leads coming in for that property listing. It does have a built-in application process you can use that does a credit report and a background check. I'll cover those things in a different video. And last, if you charge late fees, they are applied automatically. This makes things less confrontational if your tenant does happen to be late one month. And this can remove you as the bad guy, at least initially, and your tenant can resolve it for themselves. Okay, are you ready to see how easy it is to get started? Now that you see the value in setting up automated payments, I want to show you step by step how easy it is to set up in 10 minutes or less, in fact. And make sure to check out our links in this video for this guide with screenshots and step-by-step instructions, and also another templated letter you can send to your tenant. Okay, so let's get going. The first step is you go to apartments.com and you're going to sign up and create an account. Pretty typical account creation process. Once you have that piece done, you'll come back to this screen and it will say add a property. Next, you want to fill in your actual property address. This is a validation step, so we'll check to make sure that that's a valid address. For the sake of this video, let's just assume you already have renters in place and you're going to move to an automated payment system, free for them, free for you. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into inviting our renters to pay us online. So first, you want to get set up your lease you have in place. So you may be halfway through your lease. That's okay. So you can go ahead and put your original lease start date in here. And then you'll want to do your term as well. So let's say I started this lease last year in May. I'll go ahead and tell the system it's a 12-month lease. You can also customize the lease length. That's another pick in the list. And then that will say that it's going to end on April 30th. This also gives you reminders that you have leases coming up to renew, which is another just really nice fact of using apartments.com. Next, you want to put in your tenant's information. The email address that you use, this will be the one they'll get the invite for to set up their account. So make sure you have their email address before you start. And then this is where you'll put in just your base rent amount and then the day of the month that it is due. Next, you can also put in other fees. So for instance, I charge a pet fee, $25 per pet. Jeff here, he has 2 dogs, so I'm going to charge him a monthly pet fee of $50. This is also a great place if you have utilities that are split across a duplex or a triplex. Let's say it's the garbage service and each tenant pays $25 a month towards that. You could put those fees in this section as well. You can also collect prorated rent. We won't go over that here for the purposes of this video though. And then another feature I love is you can put automatic late fees into the payments. So I have a 5-day grace period for my tenants, but then after that, if I have not received their rent, they do get a $50 late fee. They will have to go in and manually pay that if they've set everything up automatically, but they will receive a notice. This is great for those of you who maybe don't like having those conversations when something happens. This is a great first step to perhaps handle that without having to have that uncomfortable conversation. Next, again, I don't typically collect a security deposit through apartments.com because when I am having a new tenant rent for me, that security deposit, the first month's rent, and then maybe any prorated rent for a few weeks or days before the start of that first month, I have them pay me a check for that, and I make sure that that cashes before I give them access to the property. So that's why I don't use this. And then next, you're going to connect your bank account. So you want to connect if you have a business bank account or a separate checking account for each property you have. This is where you would connect that. Just a little pro tip. I'll do another video on the value of that, but I highly encourage you to have a separate checking account. Even if it's a personal account, have it separate for every property that you have. It will make your life way easier, especially if you're managing 5 or less properties. So let's get started on this. Okay, so they have 2 ways that you can connect your bank account. They have a manual way, and then they also have a more automated way. I suggest if you have an account at a major bank that you pick the more automated way through Stripe. It will give you this pick list here, and you can select your bank from it. For the purposes of this, I selected Wells Fargo. I have an account there, and so it makes it a lot easier to connect. It will prompt you to log into your bank through this portal. When you do that, it will pull up your accounts. So from my account list here, I would just pick which account I want the rent payment to go into, and it will connect, and then it will give you this success button. If you have a smaller bank and it's not in the list, there is a way to manually connect that. You'll just put in your routing number, your checking account number, and then usually they do the process where they do small deposits, and then you'll go back and record those, but they'll tell you the steps when you do that part. Okay. The next part, I don't want this to scare you, but once you get this set up, there is a step that apartments.com has to take, and that is proving out the ownership of that bank account. This is a federal law that they're following, so I would pick that I have a business that I'm setting up here because I have an LLC. And then next, here is the scary form that I want you aware of. So you fill in this information. What this is it is for tax purposes. So at the end of the year, they will send you a 1099-K form, and it will just show the rental income that you have received through apartments.com. If you are doing your taxes correctly, you're already reporting your rental income and obviously your expenses. And so this isn't a big deal to get this statement from apartments.com or to have this reported for that matter. Okay, so next we have our final screen here. You want to check everything over that you just inputted. And then once you click this complete setup button, that is what triggers an email to invite your tenant to come and sign up for automated payments. So I think that's just good to know. You're fine all the way through, but when you click this, yes, your tenant will receive that invite and that notification. So you're done. You can go back into the side navigation and you can see your full setup. What's lovely about this is you can actually see when your tenant has completed the invite and they're all set up for payments. And then once they start paying you, this is a great place to go in and see, is the payment in process? Has it reached your bank account yet? All those great things. Last, I just want to show you on the tenant side, here's the email that Jeff, my tenant, is going to get that it's going to invite him to come and sign up. So this comes to his email. He'll click on that setup payments button. And now it takes him to apartments.com. This is the first screen he sees. And it's very similar to what you just went through, where he'll go through the same process setting up his bank account. As long as Jeff pays with a bank transfer and not a credit or a debit card, it is free. There are no fees to him. For you as the landlord, there's no fees for you as long as you're willing to wait 6 to 7 days to receive your money. You should have padding in your account for your rental anyway, so that's not that big of a deal to wait either. Last, I just want to let you know, we do have a templated letter that you can use as an email or a physical letter, however you communicate with your tenants, that's letting them know, hey, I'm moving to this platform and we are going to set up automated payments. And it gives them some step-by-step instructions on what to do. So check out our links. You can download that. And also you can download this full step-by-step guide to get yourself set up on apartments.com for automated payments for free and get your life organized. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us.